to the Padres injury updates. And Kevin Acee in his Padres Daily, he had some updates on Darvish, Jake Cronenworth, Jackson Merrill, Brandon Lockridge, Joe Musgrove. And so here is the updated target for Jackson Merrill, and that's going to be on Monday in New York, Yankee Stadium against the Yankees. He's in Arizona. The latest update that I saw was from Marty Caswell that he played some center field and he got like 6 at-bats. So he's putting in work. A video that I saw the other day, he singled up the middle in Peoria, but he wasn't able to run. But I assume he is running now if he was going to be playing center field out there. So he's making progress. And Mike Schilt did tell the media after today's game that Merrill and Lockridge are nearing the finish line. Like they're getting there in that rehab. Cronenworth, he leaves for Arizona today. Yeah, 6 at-bats yesterday for Merrill. Doubled and tripled and played center field. Marty Caswell tweeted that out, so thank you, Marty, for that. So, yeah, obviously getting Merrill back will be so huge because what that does to the lineup, I mean, holy cow. I know there's been a lot of emphasis on someone like Xander Bogaerts, but having an MVP candidate in there that you can place third in the lineup or, wherever, fourth, whatever. And that allows Gavin Sheets to have less pressure. He was pressing. I thought it was pretty clear. He was pressing when he was in that 2 spot, And so to get him back down further in the order, I think could help. And just get him back to, like, not maybe feeling like, oh, he has to be the guy. Because when he doesn't feel like he has to be the guy, we've seen the results, obviously. He's been big. So, again, it's that effect, right? And then, obviously, Tyler Wade, I think he's earned his spot to be on the roster as a utility guy on the bench. But you're taking Jackson Merrill over Tyler Wade. Like, the offensive upgrade there. Merrill is someone that can hit you home runs. And he can drive in you runs. And it's not just going to be this small ball and some singles to right, And Merrill does have speed. Wade has speed as well, but Merrill does too. And he has an arm, and he's good defensively in center field. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Gold Glove in his future at some point. He's just one of the best players on it. You don't need me to keep blabbing about it. He's one of the best players in baseball when he's on, and he's one of the best players on this team for sure. One of the faces of the franchise already. Cronenworth expected back for the series in Colorado beginning on May 9th. So I believe that is not this Friday, but next Friday when that Colorado series starts. That would be the last series of this road trip that they're starting. Pittsburgh, New York, and then Colorado, and then they're back home. And I did see Croney in the dugout yesterday. So, yeah, he is going to be heading up to Arizona, if not already. Lockridge, Merrill at the team's complex in Arizona. Darvish will join Cronenworth. Darvish dealing with the elbow inflammation, obviously working his way back. Musgrove, according to Kevin, he is also going to be there. Darvish, through his second consecutive intense bullpen session in 5 days, sitting down once to simulate throwing 2 innings. He threw 13 pitches and then 21 pitches and said he felt good. He expects to face hitters in Arizona this weekend. Darvish would likely do that at least twice before making at least 2 rehab starts in the minor leagues. That continues to line up for a return in late May. So, obviously, they've been precautionary with Darvish, and that's the right approach, especially the way this rotation has been. It's been pretty darn good. So, yeah, all good with that. And it's good that because remember, the updates wasn't really he was throwing in the bullpen, but it wasn't really a bullpen. The catcher was standing, and then the catcher would squat, and it was 19 fastballs, 1 breaking ball because Darvish wanted to throw the breaking ball, and now we're getting into intense bullpen sessions, consecutive intense bullpen sessions, and he's doing the up down, starting the up downs. So this is the most progress, obviously, in this rehab so far. But this is going to be like his spring training, if you think about it, because he didn't make very many spring training starts. And even if he did, well, this time down, that cancels it out, Lockridge, the plan for Lockridge, once he is healthy, is not known. It could come down to whether the Padres value what Lockridge brings over Oscar or Tirso. And what I would say with that is, but the way that Tyler Wade's playing, and he's shown the ability to play center field, and I assume he could play left if they need him to, why have Lockridge there if you could have Wade there as a speed option, and he can play some infield and outfield, and you can keep Oscar and Tirso, who you might, want to see more at the big league level. Let's see what they can give. If it turns out to be like, all right, this isn't it, then they can send them back down, and you can go with Lockridge. If they just want to go with Lockridge out of the gate once he's ready to come back, I would think that Tirso's the one that would go down. I know it's been a smaller sample size, but maybe the Padres are still at a point where they're like, yeah, let's just continue to have him. Okay, he was in the big leagues, so he knows that he's there. He's good enough. Let's keep giving him those at bats and keep building that confidence. So if there's an injury, that we can call him back up and he'll be ready to go. So those are the updates there. Musgrove, there's not really a big update there. It was just that he's recovering still, and he is going to be joining the team. Not the team, excuse me. He's been with the team, joining Croney, Darvish, Merrill, Lockridge at the team's complex in Arizona. And I don't know the exact work that he would be doing right now, but we know Joe, he's putting in the work, and he's going to want to be back, in the postseason, maybe in an opener role or in the bullpen, but that's obviously a ways away. If Darvish comes back, let's say late May, you would have a rotation of Darvish, obviously, Michael King, Dylan Cease, Nick Pivetta. And then, am I just totally blanking on who? Would it be Vasquez? Yeah, right? Because, yeah, I'm not blanking on anyone, right? King, Cease, Darvish, Pivetta. Yeah, there's 4, and then Vasquez. Or Kolek or Hart, They're having Vasquez still be at the big league level. The reason why there is no fifth, that's probably why I just paused there, because there's no fifth starter really right now, because Kyle Hart's down in the minors, because there's no need for the fifth starter right now with the schedule that the Padres have. Obviously, they were off on Monday, off Thursday, so there just isn't that, and they can skip over that spot and throw your best guys, which is great. But yeah, as for the injuries and those updates, obviously we had a rise back, Hayward back, Croney making progress, Merrill, hopefully Merrill and Croney will be back, and maybe Lockridge, we'll see, during this next road trip that the Padres are going to be on. Not in Pittsburgh, but New York for Merrill, and hopefully Colorado for Croney. But I wonder, would the Padres want Croney to return in Colorado? Because it's a rib fracture, non-displaced rib fracture. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea, what the elevation would play into this. Would they want Croney to return in Colorado? Maybe there are doctors and, trainers and people that know more about this than me, or maybe just a simple Google search that I haven't done would, would make me sound stupid here about that. Be like, that has nothing to do with this. But that thought did just pop into my head. Like, Colorado's an interesting spot for him to come back. But the Padres, obviously, and their medical team would know more than me, who's just having things pop into his head and, blurring them out here on his YouTube show. But yeah, those are the updates on Padres injured players, the notable injured players.